Hi everyone. Welcome back to another Toon Guide to 12 FPS. My name is Magic. I'm gonna be playing a rat known as Duster. Uh, and I am here with my good friend and co-host.
Hello, it is me, Artist of Obsessions, also known as Obby, and today I'm playing a child, a real kind child, a ruby red. Surprise, surprise. my one real kind.
I just want to put this on recording. Every time I say my friend and co-host for these FPS, I do Will Smith hands.
Oh my gosh.
Every single time.
I now have my hands on my cheeks. I can't believe I have been Will Smith hands. That came out very wrong. Let's just continue and not think about it.
Quick, we have to redo the intro.
Shut. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well, we're gone. We haven't even started a game, and it's we're already gone. No, don't put that in the chat, Trent! Text! No! Okay, anyway, it's fine. We're getting distracted. Okay, deep breath.
I'm calm.
Okay, calm. Turn off the laughter.
Yep.
For just a second.
I'm good.
Okay. Alright.
So, Ruby, what you doing?
So. Yeah! FPS time. Ruby lately has been, well, vibing in Ruindoll, as usual.
Yeah.
Not a lot else to do when you're waiting for Antler to enact his evil plans than vibe in Ruindoll.
Either enact evil plans or you're just waiting for something to happen so you can shoot fire at it, right?
Yeah. And or plotting schemes. Ruby is in fact plotting to give the new guy, the Mr. Grey Matter, a warm welcome. And by warm welcome, I mean she's going to make his life as difficult as possible. Yeah. She will bully him.
Good.
He's not safe.
Good. Anyone who's heard how my characters feel about Mr. Grey Matter, yeah. Good.
Okay. And I guess on this particular day, Ruby, in her possession, like literally in her inventory, she has like a series of sketchbooks and whatnot, and a bit of coloring and supplies, and just stuff for like generally taking notes or doing doodles and whatnot. There is in fact one specific pen that she has that she really, really likes to use because the ink is red and it never runs out, which is neat. And she has in fact not seen it anywhere, and so I'm gonna do an investigation roll for Ruby to see how long it's taking her to locate this pen. Okay, what is it again? Oh, it's that. I forgot our proficiency bonus has increased recently. Woo. Oh wow.
Did I fix that? Yeah, I fixed that on my sheet. Oh hey.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that is that's a 22. Casually flexes the +8.
Look, man, +5 inch. Pretty good.
Yeah. It is very good. Anyway. It probably doesn't take long for Ruby to actually locate her pen, which, she, is, well, she's currently, like, looking around in her room and, scouring the furniture and underneath her bed. And actually, Magic, I'd probably leave this bit up to you. Where do you think she finds her pin?
Alright, so underneath Ruby's bed, half a floorboard is missing. Just casually half a floorboard. Like, half of an entire floorboard is just gone. Yeah.
Oof.
The break point for, like, how it was broken is kind of messy, but it's made of a lot of, like, little small cuts. It almost looks like it was, like, torn off, but it was made by, like, someone with a blade. That much is obvious for someone looking closely.
Someone with a blade. Yeah.
Looking down into the hole, there's an upside down construction hat and like more things pushed off into the side further in the floorboards. You can kind of see further into the floorboards just a glint of what's probably your red pen.
Ah, yes.
It's just out of hand reach, though. Like, you stick your entire arm in there, and you come back out with, like, scraps of fabric, sometimes, like, moss, googly eyes. Don't know how you got those. But you can't just see googly eyes. Can't seem to reach this pen, though. Unfortunate.
I think, like, short. Ruby, being the stubborn child she had, tries for, like, a good 5-6 minutes, just persistently trying to reach. And coming up empty.
It's just, you keep pulling out stuff that definitely isn't your pen. You got buttons. There's one sphere-looking stick. Like, how the hell did he get this? You pull out a hammer. I want to put, like, a full-sized hammer. It's where Duster stores all of his bigger items he can't drag anywhere else. So, there's also a broken pickaxe head underneath there as well.
A whole pickaxe head. Ruby pulls up the pickaxe head and is like, alright, this is getting me nowhere. And just gently sets it back in the hole. Before, finally sighing and, thinking to herself for a bit. And after a moment or two, she kind of snaps her fingers and then, starts, she backs away from the hole for a bit to go to a bag that's on the side of her bed, which she picks up and puts on and, then starts, rooting through it. And she reaches inside and pulls out, something that she got from Glorps, which is how we're doing this FPS. This item is a nifty little thing called a Tinifier. And it is a cookie that says "Eat Me" on it, and it turns you small.
Nice.
Very small. For 24 hours! A whole day!
A whole day full of tiny shenanigans. Congratulations.
A whole day.
A whole day.
Either. Yep. So I think, like, Ruby goes back to the spot where she was under the bed and, like, peeks down into the hole one more time before she just... Yeah! She eats the cookie! She eats the Tinifier.
And I think, like, for a moment, nothing happens, but suddenly your bed is getting farther away. The floor is getting closer. And you're just, it's like taking the corner of a picture and just scaling it down until you are, like, very small now. Actually, you're like 4 inches tall. Congratulations. You are small. You can now fit in this hole.
Very small. I think Ruby kind of like has to, like, recover from the vertigo for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the feeling of being big and then being small,
yeah,
is weird. It's a little weird. That transition was a bit weird for Ruby.
Yeah, everything is now taller. You can see, like, the individual, like, sort of grooves in the floor. They're a lot more obvious now. Like, little specks of dust now seem very, like, a lot bigger. Everything is just
Oof.
big now.
Big.
It's very big.
I think, like, Ruby absently takes note of this before she walks up to the side of the hole and just kind of peers in. It's probably a lot deeper now than it was.
Before, maybe it was probably, like, not even, like, a quarter of the way up your forearm. Like, if you were, like, placing your hand down within, like, palm down. But now it's just... You might want to be careful dropping down, because you might, like, it probably... It's like, you know when you're on, like, a tall portion of, like, a swing set, not a swing set, but, like, a play set, and it's a long way down, but you're like, alright, I'm gonna jump off of it anyway. And then you do, and then, like, your knees kind of feel, like, hurty afterwards. Yeah, it'll probably be that if you just straight up jump down there.
Yeah, fair enough. Or I could go the lazy way and do feather fall, but that's not fun. I think Ruby's gonna attempt to, like, climb down or hop down. I don't know. What do I roll for this?
I would say just probably either an athletics or an acrobatics at advantage because you're being careful.
Yee. I will do athletics. Athletics. Oh, that's a 19. I don't think I need advantage.
You could go for the 20 and be fancy.
I could go for the 20. I could go for the 20.
Aww.
You know, I'm sticking with the 19.
Alright,
I'd much rather have the 19 than the 10.
19, you, like, you kind of go over the edge, but, like, you keep your hands on the edge just to get lower before, like, hopping down, like, crouching your knees when you land, just to, like, get the force out. Your knees don't hurt, so that's good. And, man, it is a lot bigger room in here than you noticed earlier.
Gosh, yeah, there's a lot of elbow room compared to what there was when Ruby's elbow couldn't fit.
Yeah. That construction hat that was in the bottom is now pretty big. Like,
big.
It would have probably been like the size of a skate rink to you. If you had dropped it.
That is big.
Yeah.
That is big.
Not like like the pool part of the skate rink. I don't know what they're called. I've been in one before.
Yeah. Like the
not
empty pool kind of thing.
Yeah, not pleasant to get out of without momentum. Had to parkour out of one. Yeah, the bowl. Yeah.
The bowl.
The bowl.
Everything. The bowl.
Everything is very bigger now, and you can see your pen off in the distance, looking larger than it normally is, at least to you.
I think, like, Ruby is, like, walking up to her pen to go grab it, and then, like, as she's walking there, she's kind of, like, slowing down to a stop.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than you thought it would be. You've seen Duster hold pens, and usually they're, like, probably they're actually kind of shorter than him, to be honest. But it's, like, a full-on, like, staff sort of scenario. This is just, like...
Yeah.
A full-on...
Big.
Yeah. You'd probably need both hands to, like, even try to hold this properly at all.
Yeah. Ruby is looking at this and, seeing how big it is and how big it was being compared to her. Like, I'm gonna be honest, she went into this thinking that being tiny meant being Duster-sized. And she's realizing absently that that's not what that meant.
Yeah. In fact, just walking over here, you've had to walk over items you never thought you would have to, like, physically hop up to, like, vault over.
Ruby is very small now, and everything is very big, and it's a little weird.
Yeah, there was, like, a half stack of playing cards you couldn't, like, usually you wouldn't even notice a half stack of playing cards on the floor other than, like, comically trip on them. But you had to, like, climb onto, like, do a big old step to get on top of it, to get over it. Everything's big.
Big steppy.
Big steppy.
Yeah. I'm gonna attempt to roll strength.
Yeah, go
To
ahead.
see if Ruby can grab her pen. 16.
16, not bad. You managed to pick up your pen. Not really. You pick up the front half, where like you hold it, but you have to drag the rest of it across the floor. It's physically too big for you to hold in your arms like comfortably.
Just the sound of the plastic pen getting slowly dragged across the wood floor.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
It's also dark in here. Like you can see faint like beams of light. You have dark vision, so it doesn't really like matter. Do you have dark vision?
Actually, no, Ruby does not have dark
Oh yeah,
vision.
it's dark as fuck in here.
It's dark.
It's dark. There's like it's not all the way dark, but it's dark enough that like you probably would trip over a few objects. But
yeah. Well, luckily, Ruby has, in fact, the light cantrip, which she just does on her pen.
Yeah, oh.
Like, on the cap of it.
It's very glowy now. It's very glowy. And, oh boy, there's like, that pickaxe head earlier is just, like, one solid bar of material that's hard to see over. The small patches of moss are now, like, full, probably blanket-sized, like, pieces of material. You can see things you didn't see before, and you're pretty sure you've seen one of those buttons somewhere. That button looks familiar.
Well, considering all of these things look familiar.
Yeah.
It's safe to say that Ruby has come to the conclusion of, oh yeah, this is a collected amount of things.
Yeah. But Ruby, there's another problem. You walk back up to where the hole in the floorboard is. You look up. You're too short. There is no way you could even drag the pen up there. There is no way you could climb up there. You are stuck down here.
That doesn't mean she's not gonna try. I think, like, she, like, looks around at her surroundings and she starts, like, trying to go ahead and drag the pickaxe head, but I'm not even...
No.
That's heavy.
That's made of, like, pure iron or
just
steel.
Have, like, a little comedic Ruby shoving her back against this thing for, like, 5 minutes. Before
it don't work.
Flopping down to the ground on her butt, and she's just, alright, this isn't working.
No, it's not. You are stuck at the bottom of this hole.
She is, in fact, stuck. Okay, I'm gonna roll a D2 to see how long it takes for Ruby to suck it up and get help. It's a 2. It surprisingly doesn't take long. Okay. Ruby is looking up at the where the floor is, like the exit, and pondering and considering for maybe a good 5 minutes, trying to come up with a solution. Really wishing she took Fly as one of her 3rd level spells, but you know what? She didn't. So that's a spell she can get in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully.
That would be helpful for climbing ledges like these again.
Okay. Now I have to think about, because, Ruby does in fact have the spell Sending. The thing is, it has a 25-word limit. So, she can mentally communicate with someone with this, but I have to make sure she doesn't have any but or haws in there. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I will waste the 25 words. So actually, let me write this out in chat. I gotta. Okay. Currently. I'm just trying to. You know what? I'm just gonna say words and count as I go.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So Ruby casts the spell sending, and how sending works is it says its description. You send a short message of 25 words or less to a creature with you are familiar. The creature hears the message in its mind, recognizes you as the sender if it knows you, and can answer in a like manner immediately. The spell enables creatures with intelligence scores of at least 1 to understand the meaning of your message. You can send the message across any distance and even to other planes of existence. But if a target is on a different plane than you, there's a 5% chance that the message doesn't arrive. Okay, now to cast spell. Duster, wherever you are currently, you hear the following.
Okay.
Hey, Duster, it's Ruby. I am currently very small, and I am stuck underneath my bed in the floorboards. I can't get out. Can you come help me? That is all. That is all you hear.
Ruby, you get the message back. What the fuck? And that's it. No other message, and the link goes quiet. Would you like to roll a perception?
Oh, perception. The thing Ruby's great at. Cause Ruby's perception checks always go well. Oh,
shit!
actually, that's really good.
22.
For once.
Ruby.
For once, Ruby, you see something.
All right, Ruby. It's for a few minutes, nothing happens, but after maybe the 4th minute, you hear a faint clicking of claws against, like, stone, and you see a rather large silhouette pop out from somewhere within the darkness and, like, heading over to your location. It's got one glowy red eye. Trained on you, in fact. Yeah.
Big.
It's big. It's got a kind of familiar silhouette. It's got large, big ol' rat ears. Seems to have some sort of hair silhouette.
I think like at first, like Ruby, like upon instinct at first was just like, oh, big, okay, and instinctively just kind of like stood up from where she was sitting until like she recognizes that, oh, that's a familiar silhouette. Oh, hey, wait a second, that's Duster. Why is he so big?
Yeah, Duster kind of like walks out into more of the light area. Ruby, this man is almost 2 times your size.
Yeah.
He is now like towering. This usually small rat is now towering over you. And goes, Ruby?
Ruby's just kind of staring, because again, she was thinking that she was gonna be Duster size.
Are you okay? Why are you small? How did you get small?
I think like after Ruby like gets over the initial surprise of okay, big rat,
Uh,
she kind of shakes her head and she signs, yeah, I'm okay. I I seem to have miscalculated something. I was looking for my pen, and she kind of gestures to the pen of which she mostly retrieved, but is, still stuck down here. Because,
oh, oh,
small.
uh, oh, okay. Uh, do you, did, did you, did you get stuck down here? It's, you didn't jump from that height, did you? It's not exactly a small fall.
Ruby just signs, I was careful. I was careful.
Oh,
And, like, besides, I have Featherfall. It's fine.
okay. It's just, uh, Duster standing at his full height is tall enough to, like, kind of, he's like, he can definitely just climb out of this hole if he wanted to right now. Like, this would be no problem to Duster at all.
And yet, for Ruby...
Yeah. Um, are you stuck like this? Or, uh, oh, wall space isn't fitted for someone smaller than me. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Ruby kind of takes the time to explain, it shouldn't last, forever. It's just a 24-hour thing. And then Ruby stops again. And she has the expression of, I really miscalculated, huh?
Oh, I can't, hold on, let's get out of here real fast. Duster kind of, he goes to pick you up before, like, hesitating his hands for a moment and just kind of, like, offering them out, like, alright, do you want to get picked up?
I think like at first like Ruby was kind of backing up like whoa hold on.
Yeah.
That was very sudden, and
Yeah.
she kind of like considers this for a moment before she very slowly like looks up back to the hole that they need to climb out of, and then she sighs. And she sighs, and she just kind of she kind of like lifts her arms a little bit so that she can get picked up.
Alright, Ruby, you're picked up like a fucking toddler. I will not lie, it is that one-armed hold that you do with small children. And Duster picks up your pen easily with one hand. Reaches up, sets it on top of the ledge, and using because he doesn't have both arms available, using the support faintly given by the construction hat, just kind of lifts himself and you over the edge and up onto the floorboards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Picks back up your pen, kind of walks out from underneath the bed. Man, your room is a lot bigger now.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Everything in this, like, your books, you probably wouldn't be able to even open them. Like,
oh gosh.
And he sets you down just like a little ways away, not exactly in the middle of the room, but just like slightly out from underneath the bed. It's just like, okay, alright, oh jeez, okay, this is fine, everything's fine. Rad is starting to pace a little bit because, big is now small. Okay, this is fine. Okay, Ruby, not think you'll be good if you wander into any of the areas I usually have. You are not tall enough to get through most of the stuff I've built.
Like, Ruby, like, looks like she was raising her hands to argue, and then she pauses, because you brought up the very good point of, yeah, like, from the pure example of just the hole from literally 2 seconds ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to leave you here like this. God, why does it be today? Alright. Okay. Do you want to come with me to Little Corner?
Ruby just kind of blinks, and it's like, hello?
Duster looks nervous, unsurprisingly.
I think, like, Ruby considers this before she signs, sure, but why?
Uh, Duster hesitates. Would you like to roll an insight?
Oh boy, insight. Boy, howdy, would I? 2.
Duster sure does look nervous. And he
Nervous.
goes, you gotta promise me you won't tell Antler.
I think, like, Ruby kind of pauses for a moment before she slowly nods.
Oh God, okay. Like, you can't, don't even, like, mention where we go, okay? Not a hand signal, not in anything. Okay?
Ruby nods again, and she signs, don't worry, I'm very good at keeping secrets.
Oh God, this is... Okay, come on, let's go. We're gonna go visit some tinies. And Duster starts walking, and, like, does a, like, follow along gesture.
Okay?
Yeah.
I think, like, Ruby kind of, like, momentarily has a very, expression that's like, oh! And
Yeah.
she's like, she actually does look a little bit excited.
Yeah.
And, she's following behind you, Duster, and, here's the fun bit. One of the effects of the Tinifier is that her movement speed has been reduced to half.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Duster is power walking right now. He's nervous. He doesn't notice. He's slower than normal because he's not on all fours, but he's power walking.
Yeah. he gets really far ahead of Ruby, and Ruby has to, like, start jogging just to keep up.
Yeah. Yeah. At one point, actually at multiple points, he looks like he's about to, like, tip up a floorboard. He actually gets halfway through tipping up floorboards, like, at least twice, before, like, pausing, looking back at you, and just kind of going, shit. And then popping back down the floorboards. There's a lot more floorboards that are unstable than you thought there were. How many, like, popping up? Occasionally he'll go to, like, pop one up and it won't budge. And he'll just be like, oh, fuck, god damn it. Okay. Power walks faster. You might have to catch up to him to tell him to slow down, honestly. But you guys are getting close to the exit at this point.
I think, like, well, Ruby, like, can't, like, call out to Duster, so, like, I think eventually she just slows down to a stop and crosses her arms.
Duster looks back at one point and just goes, gears turning. Oh, can't move that fast like this, can you? Oh God, your legs are short. Oh jeez. Okay.
Yeah, she signs no shit.
Um, do you, do you want like a piggyback ride? It'd be faster.
Ruby takes like a deep breath and like, if you want to roll insight, you can.
Okay, I'm gonna roll insight. Where is my insight? 14.
I mean, it's not all that hard to read, Ruby, in this case. She looks like she's like mentally swearing to herself at this moment that she's not going to tell anyone else about this ever.
Don't worry, Duster probably won't either.
And like, Ruby actually stops and like thinks to herself before she starts signing again. She's like, actually, I do have to let Antler know at least that I'm going out. I won't specify where we're going, but I do have to at least leave a note.
Oh God, how are you supposed to write a note like this? Okay, I don't
Ruby
think...
Ruby was like, Ruby actually had started like reaching into her bag of holding, which is the same size of her.
Yeah!
And like pulls out things that are now much smaller.
Yeah!
Than they were.
Yeah!
And like Ruby stops. And she buries her face in her hands.
Okay. Maybe I can leave a note. God, it's gonna be so obvious. We're just... Okay, this is fine.
Ruby just
pulls out a piece of paper and, like, the pen he pulls out was the size of your pen, and it looks just kind of like a quarterstaff in his hands.
Oh my gosh.
And he, like, clicks the end of it, and he's just like, alright, what should we write?
Ruby
okay.
signs, we could say we're getting snacks.
We could say we're getting snacks, and, Duster writes in undercommon the fact that they're going to go get snacks. And, he takes, instead of, like, signing his name off at the end of it, he takes the ballpoint of the cap and just kind of, like, rubs it against one of his hands and puts it at the bottom of the page as a paw print, and just goes, alright, that's good.
Before, you can put away the pen, Ruby has reached both our arms out to take it.
It's a large pen.
I know it's a large pen, but Ruby's still gonna try.
Alright,
what the peck do I roll?
Roll either a strength or a dex to finagle this thing and, like, into something coherent.
I would love to do dex because it's the higher modifier, but also strength is funnier.
Yeah.
7.
7. Alright, you try to, like, you try to write with this thing, and you just it's like, you hold it for a second, and wow, this pen is pretty heavy, and it just kind of falls back onto the back part. Like, you know how you, like, balance a pen, and it, like, falls back onto the back? Yeah, it just did that, because you were trying to hold it. Okay.
Ruby has an expression like, if she could verbally swear, she would have just done so.
Yeah, maybe I could, hold the back part while you tried writing it?
Ruby, like, sighs and eventually nods.
Alright.
Like, yeah, Yeah.
Duster picks this thing up like it doesn't weigh a lot, and kind of like holds it upright for you to like control the ballpoint end of it while he holds up the top part.
Yeah. And Ruby just signs simply like a dash and then her name. So that it is at least evidence that she has done, for once in her picking life, something slightly responsible. Physical evidence.
It doesn't look like your handwriting at all.
It does not.
Nope. And Duster clicks the pen off, shoves it into hammer space, and rolls up the piece of paper and like holds the paper in his mouth and like goes on all fours, so he's moving at like a 30 move speed for feet.
Yeah.
Back over.
Leaves Ruby in the dust.
Back over to Ruby's door. Climbs the door and pulls out a thumbtack and thumbtacks the paper into the wall of your door. Climbs back down, goes back over to Ruby. Alright, that should be good enough. Yeah.
Ruby just gives a thumbs up.
They
did good.
Do you want that piggyback right now, or?
Ruby nods.
Right.
Ruby is giving up her one shred of pride.
Duster, comically, I will say, crouches down to, like, pick you up for a piggyback ride, because again, he's very tall compared to you.
Yeah. I think, like, Ruby hesitates for, like, a little bit, because she, like, has to climb onto Duster's side in order to, climb on. Also, like, Duster's UPAing, right?
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah. It's somehow, through the magic of 2D sprite works in a like 3D sprites in a 2D space and Toonkind shenanigans, you managed to do it. Congratulations. And
piggyback time.
Duster sets off in a fair jogging pace. It's not slow, but you could probably outpace this, Ruby. If you were if you were big, you could probably outpace the speed he's going, but finally, we make it outside after 40 minutes. God. It's been 40 minutes.
It has been 40 minutes of very adorable shenanigans.
Oh god, I planned way too much for this FPS. Okay, this is fine.
It is okay. We have time.
This is probably gonna be a little bit long, folks.
A little bit longer.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. We're all good.
Hey, Ruby! The outside seems bigger. Like, holy shit! Like, you look up, and the tops of trees look like full-on skyscrapers.
Oh my gosh.
Most of the plants that would probably brush your knees are the size of, like, 2-story buildings. And,
oh gosh. I'm gonna say, I don't think Ruby's ever seen, like, skyscrapers before, so at the moment, these are the tallest things she's seen, comparatively.
Yeah. Everything is big. Like, you see what's you see a dandelion? Like, that thing, you could probably wear, if dandelions could be worn as hats, you could wear the entire head of a dandelion as a hat. Like,
oh
a wide-brimmed hat, too. It's
big.
Everything is big, and you're going not a path that, like, a traditional path to Little Corner. Duster's kind of, like, detoured into the woods off of the path you'd normally take. You can't even recognize where you are right now.
Oh gosh.
It's all big. It's all, like, some, like, tree roots you think you'd probably, like, trip over. Duster has to, like, full-on climb with, like, three three of his paws. One of them still holding onto like your legs, because
Yee.
But
because safe, keep safe.
Yeah. Duster is surprisingly proficient with climbing with just 3 paws, by the way. And like they're, oh boy, it feels like forever. Like, it feels like you've been walking for hours, because everything is smaller.
Oh, gosh.
Everything seems to go by slower. But eventually, y'all hit some sort of like, hold on, I can words. Y'all hit the like the cobblestone, like a cobblestone just fencing for Little Corner that's nowhere near any place you've seen. Not that you'd be able to recognize it because you're so low to the ground. This area doesn't look familiar at all.
I think like notably throughout like most of this trip, Ruby's just been kind of spacing out.
Everything, like, you saw
because
it's
taking such a long time and it's very boring.
Yeah, you saw a dragonfly earlier, and like, holy shit, that was the size of probably like Love or bigger. And yeah, you could see like the silhouettes of birds and trees, and they kind of look, I'd describe them as looking like planes. Because of how big they are. Everything is big. Everything is huge. You are very small now. And,
Ruby, with her 20 intelligence, is suddenly realizing...
World's a scary place.
Golly.
World's a scary place. And Duster kind of, like, looks at the wall for a moment. Sort of kind of hesitates before putting a hand on a wall and sort of, like, testing his weight just to see if it'll hold. It'll probably hold! You don't weigh that much right now. You could probably infer that, but he still tests it and just scales the wall.
Scales the wall.
This wall is a lot.
Climb.
I think Fables described the walls that be, like, the small cobblestone walls, it being small. But, oh boy, they sure are big now. And, y'all pop over on not any side of, like, you pop over in probably the residential area side of town instead of what you're probably used to, like, the main streets. Duster doesn't scale down a wall necessarily into an alleyway. There's this one singular, like, rope that connects one of the windowsills to the fence, and yeah, he just goes over that instead, and onto a pipe, onto a drain gutter, and on top of the buildings. And
oh gosh,
holy shit, Little Corner is big. Little Corner is the wrong descriptor from this perspective. There is houses as far as you can see.
I'm just gonna do something real quick. It's gonna be a +2. That was a whiz save.
Oh god, that's a 6.
That's a 6. I think Ruby's just kind of like, I mean, she's always quiet, because again, mute, but also like, there's just like this kind of silence of awe, and wow.
It might make a lot of sense now why Duster seems afraid of a lot of things. So a lot of things are very big.
It does, yeah. Like, things that Ruby wouldn't have considered dangerous before is very much dangerous now. Like,
yeah,
even just peeking over, like, that little wall from earlier, it would have been, like, quite the drop.
Yeah. And, like, that, the drain pipe not the drain pipe, but like the water gutter from the building that you guys like passed over earlier, that was like Duster had to take a full like step over it. Like drain like the gutters for houses aren't that like big usually.
Oh gosh, imagine if it was raining.
Yeah,
oh,
imagine if it was
that hits
raining.
Ruby. That thought hits Ruby, and she's just like, okay. Okay.
Yeah. And Duster's kind of like looking over the houses and just kind of going, all right, I don't think we can go that way.
I think Ruby actually takes a second to pat Duster's side, because like she can't exactly sign to Duster while she's on Duster's back.
Yeah. You need something?
I think like Ruby like very cautiously makes sure that she's climbing off Duster on the side where there isn't any sudden drops. And
hold on. Duster quickly grabs back onto your legs from where you're climbing off and moves to a different area before helping you off, because that was definitely not a safe place to try to, stand constantly for someone your size.
Look. Ruby's intelligent. She isn't wise.
I will say, Duster's like kind of holding on to one of your arms until you get like a solid balance on where you guys are standing, which is like the very peak of the roof.
Yeah.
And it's just like, alright. So, what you need?
Look, I think like Ruby kind of like pauses and takes a look at her pocket watch, which she does own. How long has it been since?
Probably like. I'm imagining this took place pretty early in the morning. Like Ruby hasn't summoned Oliver yet. Duster has no concept of time being indoors all the time, but did get up actually early for this day because he was planning to be out all day. So, it's been like an hour, Ruby. It's been like an hour.
Oh gosh.
Since you guys left the
ruins.
It's been
so long.
Yeah.
Oh no. I think like Ruby like has this realization and she just kind of like drags a hand over her face. And she signs, how long is it gonna take to get to
well, normally it doesn't take me that long, but my usual paths, I don't know if they're safe with me carrying you, so we're gonna have to go at a little bit of a roundabout way. Have you eaten yet? Have you had food yet? Obby?
Hello?
Hi!
Can I be heard?
You were just quiet for a moment. Obby? Are you okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. What was the last thing that you heard from me before I got quiet?
I was just responding to your question, and then you didn't talk at all afterwards.
Because I never heard a response. A gentle pet.
Duster basically
Technology, why?
Duster basically said that usually it doesn't take that long. Never being clarified in time-wise, by the way. But
yeah.
He was gonna have to take a detour for you to get there safely with him. And also, he asked if you had eaten yet, because that's probably important. Oh God, Discord? Discord? Are you bungling us? Guys, we fucking lost Obby. It's been 55 minutes. We're not even there yet. Obby! 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 Ah. Well, I guess it's just me now. It's just me. Can you guys hear me, or is it on my end? Obby? Obby's gone! Obby's dead! Not crab rave! Obby! Obby's gone. Obby's gone. Obby's just fucking dead. I'm the best at breathing. I have an award for it. No, I don't. That was a lie. Hi, gallery. What's up? Have you all drinking some water recently? Hydration. Good for the soul. Good for the soul. Obvious internet has died. Oh, joy. Oh, joy. I guess we gotta finish Rundle without I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, Chad, this is gonna be lovely. This is gonna be lovely. I think you'll like it. You know, tiny shit. Hey. Go sleep. It is nap time for a certain Trad. Also, this is still recording. I should probably pause that. We'll be back in a bit. Unpause. Hello. We're back.
We're back from technology hell. Tech internet. I was on my computer, and then my computer decided, you know what? Peck you and everything you stand for. Go to hell.
Alright.
So now I'm on my phone.
A quick recap for just the live members of the audience and for both of us. Duster.
Yeah, because I cannot remember where we were, I'm gonna be honest.
Duster had responded to Ruby. God, what was the original question? How long is it gonna take? That's what Ruby asked. Duster did not, clearly answer the question. He just said that it's probably gonna take longer than it normally does because he has to adjust route for, having Ruby along. And also asked Ruby if she's eaten yet today, because that may be important.
Yeah. I think, Ruby kind of, pauses for a second at that answer and also the question. And, as she's, thinking of a way to work around getting a different version of that answer, she's gonna sign, I haven't eaten yet.
Okay.
But, I think I have snacks, and, she starts rooting through her, through her bag of holding again.
You can save it. There's somewhere along the way we can stop by.
I think Ruby kind of pauses and eventually just shrugs, alright, sure. And then, she thinks again before signing, how many buildings away is our destination? Because, if she can roughly get how many buildings they have to go across, and judging by how long it's taken just to get over the one building.
And through the forest, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true.
Hold on a second. And, he walks away for a moment to climb a chimney to get to the top. He's, hanging off the edge of it so he isn't getting, a face full of smoke. And he's holding one paw out, and he's going 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, I can't go that way. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looking off into the distance, if this rat could squint anymore, he'd be squinting more. trying to
gosh.
perceive shit, because you can also notice that these buildings, have a fair bit of difference across the roof area.
Oh gosh.
Uh,
I think like Ruby's like looking in the direction that Duster is kind of looking, and she's just like, it's just dawning on her once again. Like the fifth time she's realized the same thing. Big. Everything's big.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. I'd say anywhere from 10 to 20.
Ruby just sighs and
It,
like once again rubbing her face.
it, some of the distances are shorter across than others. It won't be too long. I promise.
I think Ruby just eventually nods and like it's just there's many like absent realizations of things that she's thinking about now that she wouldn't have thought of when she was that big. Like just like a walk like across town wouldn't take longer than maybe 10 minutes for Ruby, especially like if she's jogging. But
Yeah.
like now.
Yeah. And Duster is just like, we can get going if you want to.
There's like again like it looks like there's just like internal thoughts in Ruby's head before she eventually just sighs and nods.
Yeah, and Duster climbs back down from the chimney and offers to like do a piggyback ride again.
Ruby just kind of climbs up Duster's side again, a little less awkwardly this time.
Yeah.
Since they figured out the whole 3-dimensional on 2-dimensional thing last time.
Yeah. And Duster begins doing like a kind of, he doesn't necessarily like walk down this roof. He kind of like half slides in that like controlled slide sort of manner of like taking like a step and sliding a little, step and sliding a little.
Yeah.
And starts to like walk across buildings, and like occasionally he's like hopping across small gaps between, not actually small gaps between the buildings. He actually has to like do a running start for a few of them. Added weight and all of that. So yeah. At one point, he tells you to hold on, and then he's gonna draw out his sword, because I'm gonna do this because I had the idea earlier today. Draws out a scissor blade you haven't seen before. It's all black. It has like a nice, neat looking green gem in it, with some glowing green runes, and walks over to like there's those party, like, not party ribbons, but like the little like triangle ribbons like on the string that like hang over like town streets.
Like the kind of things like you'd see in like festivals and stuff.
Yeah. There's a few of those hanging over what's probably just like a small side area. Not necessarily one of the main. None of these are main streets. You can tell this. This is definitely more of a residential route to wherever you guys are going.
I think like Ruby sees like Ruby is very quick to connect the dots of, oh, we're about to do something. Oh, we're about to do something. And she's very quick to like tighten the hold ever so slightly. Just like, oh, okay.
And he takes hold of the handle and hold of the back of the blade that's not sharp, putting it between like the string on the ribbon and like rappelling down. I think that's the right word.
Zipline.
Yeah, he's ziplining. He's ziplining now. And ziplines, and as you guys are approaching the building, it's holding on to like a small post, and there's like a bush for like a balcony flowers, and before you guys hit the post, he actually lets go of the zip line, and you both fall into the bush.
Okay.
It makes a small rustle, and Duster sits there silently for a moment. Another one. And when you guys don't hear anything, he moves again, tucking away the scissor, and very quickly climbing onto the roof of this building. Because this wasn't a gap he could just, like, hop across, like the other ones were.
Yeah.
There's...
I will say, like, the entire time they did that, Ruby had Featherfall ready to go, but, like, they didn't ended up needing it, so...
Yeah. It's honestly a very practice motion of Duster doing these things.
Yeah.
But you guys are kind of out of the way. You guys are heading towards more of the store area of Little Corner, but some of the buildings...
Ruby knows this area of Little Corner very well.
You guys aren't quite there yet, but, like, you can see the beginning of where basically the store area would be. And he suddenly takes, like, it's obvious he's heading in that direction, but he takes, like, a sharp detour at one point to go in a different direction, and you can see a rooftop greenhouse. It's not very big. It's not a very big one. Well, actually, it is very big because you are very small. But it's a little run down. Like, the glass hasn't been cared for in a while, and Duster, you get closer to this building, and it's fucking tall, and
just like every other building.
Yeah, this is just a small rooftop garden, like, small rooftop greenhouse, and it's still, like, probably the size of an office building to you right now.
Big.
And Duster walks across one of the edges and ducks in, like, a small hole in the glass. It's kind of looks like it was busted out. Very sharp edges. He ducks so neither of you get cut on glass. The glass has been long cleaned up at this point, probably by Tinies, if you were to guess, noting how small this hole is. And into a very, like, if this was a big-sized area, it'd be a very, like, sort of jungly area, but it's just overgrown plants. And eventually you guys go out from under the underbrush, and it's fairly normal on the inside. And Duster scales on to one of the tables. It's an old table. It's kind of like, it's rotting at the edges. The top of the table is in better condition than the bottom parts are. And he sets you down on the table, claps his hands, goes, "All right, would you like grapes or strawberries?"
Ruby kind of blinks before, like, she debates for a little bit before eventually signing strawberries.
Okay, stay here real fast. I'll go get them. And Duster takes one sweep at the, the foliage here, and ducks into the brush. Oh boy, Ruby, you've been left alone on a table.
Oh no.
So sorry.
Duster, you've left Ruby alone.
Yeah, this place is big.
I'm rolling a D2. I'm rolling a D2.
Oh no, Duster.
Gosh dang it, Ruby.
That's a 1.
Yeah, Ruby's not staying put.
Oh, joy. Where's Ruby? Where are you going, Ruby? It's a long way down from all angles of this table.
Like, Ruby just kind of, like, Duster told Ruby to stay here and went off, and then Ruby's just like, in the mind of Ruby, I can come along too. Come on, I can handle myself. And she just very stubbornly starts going over to the edge of the table and, like, looks over it. And then she's gonna cast Featherfall on herself and hop off the edge.
Okay, yeah. You have a nice slow descent as slowly the things you were eye level with go higher and higher and higher, and you end up down on like the start of where things are like onto the soil, and you kind of like your boots are getting a lot of use because like oh boy, this is like more fertile soil meant for doing plants, which means it's more like
Mud.
squishy. Yeah.
Mud.
Yeah, your boots are getting use. Your rain boots are
Yep.
getting use.
Yep.
And would you like to roll survival?
Oh gosh.
Just
Surprisingly, this is one of the only things Ruby naturally has proficiency in. Watch, I say that, and
oh joy. Oh boy. A
10.
10. A 10. All right. You're pretty sure you're following Duster's trail. It's not too hard to see, and you keep going.
There are rat footprints in the mud.
And you keep going. And
Oh
you
no.
keep going. And slowly the rat footprints just aren't there anymore. You're pretty sure you could trace your way back, but going forward, would you like to go forward anyway?
I'm rolling a D2 again. Ruby, please, for the love of everything. Gosh dang it, Ruby! Ruby, you stubborn brat!
Okay. I'm assuming you go forward.
She's going forward, yeah!
Alright,
If she can't find the rat, she's gonna find the strawberries, because that's where...
I'm gonna say with a 10, you definitely don't find the strawberries.
Yeah.
Or the rat.
I think before moving forward, though, Ruby actually pauses and pulls out her... Well, she pulls out of her bag of holding a compass.
Yeah.
And, like, makes a note of, like, what direction is, like, back towards the table.
Yeah.
She's smart. She's at least going to use tools that are at her fingertips.
Yeah, alright. You start walking. You wanna roll a perception check at one point.
Gosh. Oh boy.
You're walking this foliage, it's like walking through a dense woods with overgrown plants and far-reaching trees up into Obby.
Yeah.
Your perception.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were rolling. I was confused.
No, roll perception.
I'm sorry.
There's
16.
the flowered plants of this area, overgrown with unattendants, but still thriving somehow in this environment, are infinitely upwards. They're the size of trees. You could probably climb them. There's small bits of like dead foliage on the ground you have to push out of the way sometimes. With a 16, you have the distinct feeling of being watched.
Oh. Oh no.
And you keep moving, and there's a subtle, like, rustling sound of something moving in the plants behind you. And
Ruby doesn't like that.
As you keep moving forward, there's no end in sight to these plants, and you can hear the rustling in front of you now, and then to the left, and then to the back, and then to the right, then to the front again, and something is circling you.
Yeah, Ruby doesn't like this. Ruby is casting invisibility on herself.
Oh, joy.
And does not like this invisibility time.
The thing, whatever it is, pauses, and there's a small shh, 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 and there, it pokes its head out to where you were, and there is a giant, fluffy cat looking at the location of where you were. It has a name tag with like cursive writing on it that says Toodles.
Oh, good golly, there's a cat. Ah!
And it's looking at the location you were, and it's sort of like putting its head down to try sniffing. Like,
Yeah, Ruby is very quietly stepping away from where she was.
I'm gonna roll a stealth at advantage.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll that stealth advantage. Ruby, what is your stealth? Let me look. Oh, good golly, that's not that high. Oh. Wizards. Wizards. Oh, that's an 8. Alright, please advantage. Okay, 22.
22. You manage to slowly step over any of the pieces of foliage that you would have tripped over or maybe brushed into to make noise as this cat like looks at the area, tilts its head, kind of like rolls over, paws at the spot you used to be. What would have been gently, probably, if this, you know, if it was a normal sized thing and not a small human child, in that location. And in the distance you hear, Ruby, Ruby, uh, very panicked Duster in the distance.
Yeah. Like, Ruby is going to very quietly tiptoe away from the cat. And the moment she's, like, far enough, still invisible, she's gonna start, like, bolting towards back the direction of the table.
Yep. Yeah, you sure do that. There's... If you would have bothered to look back at the cat's ears perk up and just kind of saunter after wherever the noise is from.
Mm. This is tense. Oh man.
But
Oh man.
you managed to outpace this cat by sprinting. And this cat is like meandering, so it's not moving very fast.
Yeah.
And you come out to the edge, and like Duster is like, he looks half panicked, just like on the edge of the area with his ears up and just kind of trying to see if you've left somewhere out that way. Kind of, he's by the area that he was once and like looking at the tracks you left, and is probably about to bolt off to wherever they lead.
Ruby like kind of like gets to where the edge where the plants are before she dispels invisibility, and is trying to wave frantically to get Duster's attention.
Hi. Okay. That's, yep. Where is my perception? What is my perception again? Actually, you're not being subtle about this.
Yeah.
Are you? Duster like snaps his head over in your direction. Doesn't even hesitate as he runs over to you. And oh, that was a 4, so he's definitely gonna do this. He just picks you up and then bolts away from where the edge is back onto the table.
Yeah. Ruby doesn't even like try to fight.
Like
try to fight this. Like surprisingly, like the moment Duster like grabbed onto her, Ruby just started clinging to him.
And bolts back up the table that's like higher up than the plant area, and it's just like, okay, oh god, why did you leave? Oh, are you okay? Kind of like looking over Ruby, making sure Ruby is not actually hurt anywhere.
Yeah. Do you want to roll insight real quick?
Sure, insight, my best stat. 4.
Oh.
Duster's like, should I roll an advantage because like Duster has all of the attention right now on Ruby?
Yeah. Definitely.
12.
Uh, okay. That's 12. I mean, Duster, you've known like Ruby for how long has it been? Like a couple months at this point?
Yeah.
Like, and like you've gotten acquainted with her and her kind of general habits of how she acts. She looks like she's a little shaken up, and you know that she's not entirely a touchy-feely kind of person, but she's still kind of like clinging onto your side.
Oh, yeah. Duster does like the full, like, putting like the head on top of Ruby's and like holding her to his chest, and it's just like, okay, it's fine, everything's good, uh, everything's everything's okay, I got food. Would that make you feel better? Come on. Carrying Ruby over to where he'd gotten strawberries from. Uh,
Yeah.
kind of
There's
like,
kind of like there's kind of like a shaky inhale and a nod from Ruby.
it's okay, everything's fine, right? Everything's fine, everything's fine.
I think like she also like kind of like looks back to like the direction of where the cat was.
Oh, there's a small cat head peeking out of the foliage, looking at y'all curiously.
I think like Ruby just kind of like quietly pats at Duster's side
Yeah, what is it?
and kind of points towards the cat.
Uh, pointing towards something immediately gets Duster's attention, and he kind of like tenses for a moment before like looking at the cat and just going, "Oh, thank God, it's just Toodles." Okay, yeah, okay, hold on. Uh,
What? That is not the answer Ruby
yep.
was expecting.
Duster takes out what appears to be a cat treat and just fucking tosses it at the cat. Yep, that'll buy us time. Okay. Yep. Do not expect Toodles to be here. Okay.
What?
Yep. Did
Ruby is now staring at Duster.
that's Toodles. Her usual stomping grounds is this sort of area. Um I oh right, you're suppose Biggs won't notice this. Some of the cats here have territorial requirements. Um Usually food is a fair price to pay. So I've maybe been keeping cat treats on me at all times. It'll be fine. We'll be able to stay here to eat. Toodles won't bother us.
Ruby is just she seems so very done at the same time. She just
Yeah.
kind of like tiredly rubs at her face. And she signs, "Is there anything else that I need to consider?"
What do you mean?
I'm not used to, and she gestures towards everything. Just not even one specific thing, just everything.
Well, Duster like nods ahead over to the Hey, these strawberries are fucking huge. Like these probably be like small like average sized strawberries, but this is like,
Yeah.
Ruby, you could probably sit on top of this thing and like and your legs would be off the ground. Just yeah, kind of like a head tilt. Foods usually like in these sort of portions. Um, not exactly things you can put into like a plate easily.
Yeah. Like Ruby's just kind of like looking at the strawberry that's basically the size of her.
Yeah. And
Duster's. It just kind of like signs. Geez, no wonder you couldn't finish the apple from the festival.
Yeah. He pulls out that nice looking scissor blade again, and just kind of like cuts into the strawberry and like cuts a chunk out, taking out the seeds, like taking off the seeds from the chunk that he's cut out.
Oh yeah, because they would be huge now. You could
Yeah.
eat those.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider that.
Yeah. Removing the seeds from that area and handing you this chunk of strawberry. It's like you have to hold it in both hands to like it isn't like overly big, but you have to hold it in both hands to like keep it stable. You could probably hold it in one hand, but it might be like prone to tipping over.
Yeah.
This is also probably the reason why like Duster you know. And
yeah.
And
Ruby just takes like her little teeny slice of strawberry with both hands.
Yeah.
And just stares down at it for like a good little bit.
Yeah. Duster carves off his own little actually it's probably bigger than yours, but his own chunk of strawberry and just kind of like sits on the floor and eats it. Also probably why Duster doesn't know how to use chairs. Chairs are too small and not portable.
Yeah, you know what? Fair.
So, do you want to sit down? Or...
Ruby just kind of gives like a sideways glance towards the cat one more time.
The cat is gone. Cat is gone. Back into the foliage.
Ruby doesn't exactly like that, but you know, she's just gonna move closer to Duster and munch on her strawberry. Just take a big bite.
It sure tastes like strawberry. It tastes better than it normally does. You're very small now, and like as you bite through this thing, like this is what's normally a small chunk of strawberry. This would probably been like a snack to you, but you're feeling kind of full, even like not even like you haven't even finished it and you're feeling kind of full.
Yeah. Ruby like gets like halfway, maybe 3/4 through the little piece of strawberry before eventually giving up defeat and setting the rest of it down.
Duster does eat his own chunk with rather big bites. He's got a big head with big old teeth. His teeth are like looking from below and being at this side, his teeth are fucking huge, man.
Big.
He's got two big front teeth, smaller like back teeth. And it's just
Just noticing details of Duster that you wouldn't notice if you were big.
No. Would you say you're sitting on the right side or the left side of Duster?
Probably the right side.
Alright, you wanna roll a perception?
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
Because that's the side his hair's normally over.
Okay.
It's
a 21.
21. You usually notice a little like nick in his ear. It's a lot bigger now. Like probably the size of your hand big. But like there's the smallest edgings of a scar peeking out from beneath his hair that would have been impossible to notice if you were big. But being this small, there's definitely a scar mark right there that looks diagonal to his like that would probably cross diagonal to his eye if it went up that far.
Ah. Ah. Distinct flashback to the fact that there was one glowing red eye. I think, like, Ruby, like, as she's kind of, like, absently realizing this, just absently rubs at one of her arms. Like, through the fabric of her jacket. She doesn't really comment on it, but... Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
There's a
also good.
lot of things she's noticing today that she would not have noticed otherwise.
Yeah. Uh. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can also notice with a 21, just like slight sort of like probably nick scars from not wielding a weapon properly on like the palms of his paws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. This rat sure is a rat. Uh
A rat who has scars.
yeah. Yeah.
Scars that would be too tiny to see if you were big.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's also got fur. It's kind of matted. It doesn't look properly
Oh.
brushed at all.
Aww.
Yeah. Yeah. Duster like finishes off his portion and like looks at the strawberry, looks at you, looks at the strawberry, and just walks over, picks up the strawberry, just yeets it into the underbrush. Alright, and you're ready to go?
Ruby nods and she gets up from the ground that she was sitting on and kind of like rubs at her face a little bit, like the leftover bits of strawberry juice.
Yeah,
And she starts walking closer to Duster to climb up on him again.
I don't know how to explain all of this tiny stuff he's like saying as helping Ruby onto his back and starting to like head towards where probably an exit is. Uh, but it's a lot. It's there's a lot of things you have to consider. I don't know if I could coherently explain it just here, now, at all.
Yeah, Ruby just kind of nods along as you're talking, Duster. You probably can like feel her doing it, just like from
Yeah,
the shifting of the weight.
I probably should have told you about Toodles. Uh, Usually I don't have a problem if we're just sticking near the table area, but oddly protective over some of the flowers further in. Uh, don't know why. And
Gosh dang the burning curiosity.
look, man, Duster doesn't know. Duster doesn't know. He doesn't ask questions. What is he supposed to do? Ask questions to a cat? A cat?
No, fair. Fair.
Uh,
I
yeah.
think normally Ruby would like want to go check out the flowers, but also right now they are very small. And right now, yeah, she's been honestly a little spooked.
Yeah.
For the first time honestly ever.
Yeah, look.
She's just gonna stay next to Duster. Duster is a safe space right now.
Look.
She's gonna stay next to Duster.
Again, it's probably more of that like dawning realization that yeah, this is why Duster is nervous about everything.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
Every single goddamn situation y'all have been put in. Always nervous.
Because like for all the situations that like they have, there are the big things to consider. You don't really think about the small things to consider in all that situations, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, y'all are moving across rooftops again, back towards the more shop area. But instead of going near any of the main streets, it's more of like, you know those storefronts that like locals would probably know, but anyone visiting would be like, no, you wouldn't have any reason to go in this area.
Yeah.
It's one of those pathways, and y'all are climbing onto a roof that doesn't have a chimney smoking. And would you like to roll a perception?
Perception time. 3, 20 plus 3.
And like you guys,
5.
that's a 5. All right. You guys are walking like right like on a like Duster has been avoiding buildings near any of the streets that people usually populate this time of day. This it's probably like almost noon by now, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
Been a while, huh?
yeah, it's been a while. Like Ruby, just without not like disregarding the perception, just you have the knowledge you would have been able to get here in 30 minutes probably. And
30 minutes. Oh, good golly.
yeah, like if you didn't take that detour, probably like an hour, but you would have been able to speed walk directly to this location in like 30 minutes.
Good golly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been so slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ruby is making a mental note to do something to make the trip back shorter, because good golly.
And, Duster slows in front of this chimney and just, okay, alright, don't freak out, and starts climbing up the small chimney, going over to the inside edge and climbing down.
Ruby kind of pats Duster's side a little bit.
What's up?
Before they start climbing down. It looks like she has something to say.
Hold on. Climbs back up over the ledge, puts Ruby down so Ruby can do sign language.
Yeah. And Ruby signs, like, looks over the building for a little bit before she signs. Is this where the other little tinies are?
Yeah. But none of their entrances are, big enough for me to fit through, but the maintenance entrance, otherwise known as the chimney.
Ruby kind of nods, and, like, I want to roll maybe, like, a little history check, because I want to see if Ruby
knows this
would
building?
recognize if she's... Yeah, if she knows this building and or has been around it.
Sure.
At all.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Well, I gotta flip over to my character sheet real quick. History is a... Yes. Yes, plus 8, yes. Oh.
An 11.
11.
I will give you the benefit of the doubt. You have been to Little Corner a few times by now. Pretty sure you've never, like, this isn't a building you probably had to visit, but it's definitely a familiar area. You may think, like, something with shoes goes on here? Shoe building? Do they make shoes? Do they fix shoes? Do they turn shoes into hats? You don't know.
Something to do with shoes.
Something to do with shoes. And, Duster...
It's something.
Duster, like, offers to go piggyback ride again.
I think before, they do, Ruby kind of holds up a finger and, takes a moment to cast Alter Self. To give herself a little disguise.
What you looking like, Ruby?
Little mouse.
Little mouse!
Mouse.
I'm gonna roll an insight just immediately.
Nine.
A 9! Duster's blue screened.
Wait, what?
Duster's just kind of like staring at this mouse form, just in that like blank sort of way. Like a what? He's blue screened.
Like Ruby kind of like looks up at Duster as he blue screens for a bit. And eventually she signs, well, if I'm going to interact with Tinies, I don't want to be, and she like kind of gestures at herself, recognized, in case they've seen me as a big.
You'd be you'd be surprised how tunes in general just don't recognize the slightest change in appearance.
Do you want to roll insight on Ruby?
Sure. 17.
Like, you say that, but like Ruby just, you get the feeling that like she doesn't entirely believe that. You get the feeling that she is just trying to be careful with this kind of thing.
Okay. It's fine. Should looks back over the edge. Should I call you by a different name as well for this?
Ruby like thinks for a bit before eventually just shaking her head. Nah, it's fine.
Okay.
we can just stick with Ruby. Otherwise, it's gonna be real confusing.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
And then eventually she also signs, I can cast Featherfall to get us down faster.
It would. We don't want to drop into, the actual wood like base part. The stop is like halfway through. They're supposed to be doing shipments today, but they might have started without me. Right. Hop on.
And Ruby hops on.
Alright.
With a much more practiced grace now that they've done this a couple times.
Yeah. Oh man. I will just note it's recording's like 1 hour and 43 minutes. Oh, I planned too much for this FPS, but I'm having
This is really
fun.
good though. I love this. Let's keep going. Come on.
Okay. Alright. Yep. We're descending.
Although, if it's nearly been 2 hours, we probably do want to take a quick break for water and stuff.
I took a break while you were having internet troubles, but yeah,
I didn't take a break because I was dealing with internet trouble.
Yeah, we can take a short 10-minute break. I can pause the recording again so it just doesn't go on for too long. But
10-minute break while I go grab water and stuff. Yes.
10-minute break.
That is very much appreciated.
Grab water,
yes.
grab snack.
Okay. Yee. We will be back momentarily after these messages.
And recording is back up.
We are back.
We are descending down this chimney.
It is time to descend, yes.
Alright, Ruby, do you want to roll another perception check? Just as we're going down.
Perception, yee.
I will note, it's not that tight of a squeeze in here, but it's definitely like an enclosed space.
Yee. Ruby got a 20.
Ah, nice.
Unnatural.
At first you didn't hear anything from the top, but as you guys are getting lower and lower down and like you're looking like downwards from where you guys are, from where Duster's like going down, you can see light at not the bottom, but more of the middle of the chimney, like coming from one of the sides, and you're starting to hear people? They're not exactly quiet, and it's like a lot of people. Like
Mhm.
this, if you've been in like an open tavern space, it probably sounds like an open tavern, like in the
Ooh.
like getting closer and closer as you guys descend down this area.
Yee.
And you there is in fact a small stone that has been kind of not, well, it isn't small. It would probably be like a normal brick from a
Mhm.
big perspective, but this leaves a large garage-like door,
Ooh.
like doorway into
Ooh.
into a space, and it's very bright from this very dark chimney for a moment. And then you see people, your sized people. In your size, as in around 4 inches tall, and Duster steps. Duster like has to duck through this entrance because he's still tall, and lets
Big.
lets you down from off of the piggyback, and
Mhm.
there is like dozens of just small people moving around, carrying tools. It's like a hubbub of basically like a pier, and
Yee.
I don't have a drawing, but I do have an envisioning of um
Mhm.
there's a tiny um it's probably a man.
Mhm.
He's got a mustache, so that, yeah.
Mustache.
Um it's they're humanoid in size. They
Mhm.
have a singular eye. He has a singular eye, just one eye, no nose, no visible mouth. Um
Oh. Oh.
a more oval-shaped head, two antennae coming up from off of like the very choppy and messy brown hair he has. Wearing a work shirt, work pants, no shoes because the shoes end in like little like bug feet. Like you know how they have like the little like curved claws out from like the
Ooh,
stick?
yeah.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
those. And a very thin tail. And
Ooh.
he was like going over one of the parcel looking boxes and looks over in your guys' direction and kind of like waves and goes, "Hey Duster, over here!" And I don't know what that accent is, but it's the first thing that came out of my mouth. Uh,
It's the one we're working with.
the one we're working with. And uh this man doesn't exactly like drag Duster over. Kind of meets him halfway as Duster's has like one hand on your back for you not to get lost in this very crowd of tinies. A lot of tinies look very similar to this man, having one eye, sometimes with like fancy eyelashes. Uh,
Yeah.
there's some sheep-looking tinies, like they look like sheep,
Sheep.
and you guys are walking on the rafters of this shop, and there are shoes like placed upside down with like tinies on top of them, working over them. There are tinies going freely from inside the wall to outside of the wall, and
Yeah.
interestingly enough, all of the rafter boards have this paper on them with
Mhm.
very runic scrawled writing. I'm gonna roll an Arcana.
Ooh. Arcana. Yes.
And like I will
Three
mention that
plus 8.
like it's basically pasted on these boards 23.
23.
These are a like very peculiar set of sort of runes. It's meant to keep sound in the area that you can probably assume is from the bottom of the rafters
Oh.
upwards. Um it's
So kind of like I'd assume that it's kind of sounding like it's a variation of the spell silence, as in like it makes
yeah,
it so that the noise doesn't get through the coverings with the runes on them.
yeah. It's that
Yee.
runes and also like what's kind of like a warding rune for sight, where people just don't look upwards in this establishment
Oh my god.
at all.
You do not perceive.
You do not perceive. Yeah.
You do not see.
Looking down on the floor, like, where this shop is, you see a sleeping big tune, and you could, like, a big sheep tune, and you can tell he's sleeping because he has a big old snot bubble. Just and he's snoozing away at the front desk. Doesn't even...
In that tunish way of you can definitely tell they're sleeping because bubble.
Yeah.
Bubble.
And you can
Big
probably
snores.
also infer sleeping in that tune way where you have to pop the bubble in order to wake them up.
Nice.
So this man is
Nice.
just sleeping. He's snoozing.
Out like a light.
Totally oblivious to this large hubbub that's going on above the store.
Yeah.
And this man, not the big tune, but the one that called Duster over, goes up to Duster and goes, "Hey, just in time. Well, actually, you're a little late. So, oh, who's your friend here? Ruby, you are basically like maybe a few hairs smaller than this tune.
Yeah.
From just how big how everyone here is around your size, you can probably also infer that Duster is rather tall. Noting he's kind of hunched over.
Like, Ruby's absently, like, making notes of this of, oh, Duster is a giant.
Yeah.
Because all these other tinies are, like, her sized or taller slightly. And the fact that Duster is huge.
Yeah. And,
Also, inwardly, Ruby is once again the shortest person in the room, which she was...
Actually, you're not. There are people shorter than you, like, running around.
Well, one of these on the shorter side, then. She's been used to be in Ruindal, where she's one of the taller folks, and she's been relishing it.
Yeah, but there are people your sized now, like.
Yep.
Yeah, and Duster is just like, oh, this is Ruby. She lives in the ruins with me. And
Ruby just kind of waves. and this thought has just absolutely crossed my mind. Would the other tinies know sign language? I don't know.
Well, this one sure doesn't. It may be an innate thing that some tinies know, but this one sure doesn't. But hey there, Ruby. Hold that hand. For some reason, I've switched over to a more southern accent from my kind of Italian botched one that I did earlier.
Who knows what accents they're doing at this point. Either way, Ruby is gonna politely take the hand and shake it.
Good to meet you. We always love new visitors. Oh, we haven't had visitors in a while. Duster was the first person we've had in a long time, let me tell you. But, look, Duster's so tall, you know? I didn't even know he existed until he dropped through our chimney.
Ruby kind of wheezes a little bit at that as she just nods along.
So, you guys needed help moving things? Oh, yes, we're moving. Look, Duster, we hit the jackpot. We found the trader. You know, the merchant. Duster considers something a moment and just kind of, yeah, the merchant sort of nod. Duster has no idea what he's talking about.
Well, Ruby's curious,
Uh,
and she does try to sign and ask.
Ruby doesn't know the merchant. Oh, the merchant. All right, so there's this big merchant, like, tall folk, but all of his assistants are like us. So, we're free to go do a little bit of bartering, Managed to
Oh.
trade some, I'll admit, we managed to trade some good quality shoes for these. And pops open one of the crates, and in Ruby, inside is just what looks like model chairs. Like,
Oh.
they're like looking at them, they look pretty like realistic sized chairs.
Oh, they're little chairs.
And
Oh my God,
this
little chairs.
this tune has the confidence of we struck gold with these small little chairs. Oh, oh, okay, yeah. And I guess you guys need help carrying these. He's looking around at the packages. There's like one of the more papery packages. Probably something to do with more probably cloth, which, yeah, cloth, not like
Cloth.
like specifically cut cloth and not like scavenged cloth.
Oh.
They hit
Oh.
the jackpot, my dude. They met the merchant.
Yeah. Ruby is like seeing this because like Ruby has been like comparatively noticing what Duster has been scavenging like in the one collection she saw
Yeah.
with like all the little scraps and stuff. Like in comparison, this is very much not that.
This is some
It
high
is
quality
the opposite
shit.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's stuff specifically made for tinies, by tinies. And it's so
Made
hard.
for tinies by tinies.
It's so hard to find like carpenter tinies sometimes because tinies sometimes don't have time to practice complex crafts. And
Understandable.
yeah. This tune, like, Duster is now, like, also kind of fawning over these objects, and very quickly, like, going to help pick these up and move them places.
Yeah.
See, unfortunately, Ruby kind of forgot about you for a moment. And, like, one of these crates that it probably took like two of these tinies to even like kind of push it over here. He just picks it up and throws it on his back to carry. And following this tune, go in a direction to bring these chairs.
Yeah.
I
think Ruby, meanwhile, is just gonna absently explore the place.
Yeah. You're exploring absently. You go over to one of the more wall hole areas where, like, I want to do a perception.
Perception time. +3.
17. This seems to be more of a community housing area. There's a lot of like hammocks and what looks like to be like nests of cloth. And there's a pin cushion just as a bed. You can tell because there's someone sleeping on it. Just full on passed out on the pincushion bed. But Ruby, there with a 17, two little antennas and some few clicks on the ground. the people are smaller than you that walk up to you, but you see their antennas first. Like, they kind of comically appear at the edge of like this, like the if we were looking at it directly, appear at the edge of the screen, just kind of pop up.
Aw.
And then there's an unfurling of some sort of something. Kind of sounds like you know those flexible like tape measures you have for like styling clothes?
Oh no.
It sounds like one of those, and it just kind of unravels next to you. Looking down, there are two smaller sized children to you. One of them is wearing a very nice and fancy dress. The other one,
Aw.
I would describe it as like a, I don't know how to describe clothing that well, but it's
Mhm.
like more old-timey outfits, with
Yeah.
nice like cuffed collars, very like short flowy dress in browns. Um,
Mhm.
and then there's another child on the other side, uh, wearing a nice set of like pants, a nice like usually you'd probably wear this shirt like as an underdress shirt, but still on the fancier side, and they're wearing a makeshift corset. And
Mhm.
next to you is actually two of these smaller children stacked on top of each other, holding an unfurled like measuring tape to get your like height size. And the one on the bottom is another one in a skirt. The one on the top is has like a nice pair of pants, and has a vest over their shirt, and
Mhm.
yeah, taking your measurements. And the two children in front of you kind of start circling from both sides around in a circle, and it's two of the tunes. They're all four of them are tunes that have that one like big eye in the center. They don't have any
Mhm.
mustaches, but they all have like longer blondish hair, except
Mhm.
for the one on the top with the vest. They have a more like pink colored hair.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you've been swarmed by
Feel-
children.
Oh. I was about to say, can I roll insight, but it's too late.
Do you want to roll insight? Do you want to roll insight?
I'm not rolling it. That's a 10.
What did you want to know from this insight, like specifically?
Ruby was like kind of like watching them as they like take out all this stuff. And like I wanted to see if she can figure out like before they started swarming that if they were planning to do something, because this felt very much like they were getting ready to pounce.
Oh yeah, sharks in the water.
Oh. Oh. Oh boy.
The one in the corset kind of squints at you with their one big eye and just goes, "Is red your normal color?"
Ruby just blinks before she nods.
Okay. Red is a normal color. Got that? And you get two responses of I, and the tune, uh, two responses of I from the stacked tunes, and the one on the dress, one in the dress that's not stacked, it does a salute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, red. Red. Uh, Now, would you say you prefer a dress or just a regular shirt?
Ruby like pauses for a second before she signs I don't particularly care. And she's like watching these kids with the very much sharks in the water kind of feel.
The two stacked tunes have gotten closer and are taking your shoulder measurements
uh,
now.
Ruby's actually like slightly uncomfortable as she like kind of instinctively kind of like grabs onto the edges of her coat as like a okay, please, okay.
The one tune in the dress that was circling kind of like stops and kicks one of the other children in the shins, and like just like ow, what was that for? And like motions over to Ruby. It's just like, oh, okay. No clothes then. No clothes. Keep the. But I wanted to give them a new outfit. No. They aren't comfortable with a new outfit. We have to give them something. The the two tunes that were like measuring your shoulders have stopped measuring your shoulders.
Aww.
And now are kind of bickering amongst themselves, except for the one in the dress that is just kind of looking at you.
Aww. I think like Ruby watches them argue for a bit before she turns to like look at the one in the dress and just kind of awkwardly waves.
The one in the dress blinks and then awkwardly waves back.
Aww. Magic, I'm holding Saw.
The ones who are bickering kind of pull the dress one into like a group huddle. The two stacked ones, the one in the skirt and the one in the vest, have destacked now, but the one in the vest is still holding on to the tape measure, now just kind of like rolled up. It's very big in their arms, by the way. And they're kind of whispering conspiratorially, occasionally taking glances at you, Ruby.
Hold on, as this is happening, I wanna make a rule.
Okay.
To see if Ruby would think of something. I'm just gonna make a straight intelligence. And I'm not gonna tell you.
Oh God!
No! That's a nat one, no!
God damn it! We'll never know!
Gosh dang it. Who knows? Maybe the idea will form later, but it's fine. For now, she's more interested in watching them as these tunes, do their thing, because she's kind of just taking the role of an observer, kind of.
I will note there have been like more like adultish tunes that kind of just pass by and like give a chuckle or like sympathetic looks at you, Ruby. Apparently there's no stopping these children's antics. There's no stopping these children.
She is also an unstoppable child.
Yeah. The tunes exit the huddle, and the one in the corset claps their hands and goes, "How would you feel about a scarf?"
Ruby kind of like blinks in surprise before she just gives a little thumbs up in response.
Alright, girls, it's scarf time! And they run over to where the pincushion is and remove like some of the needles that were in the pincushion. That, by the way, that tune is still sleeping on it. And and they kind of like they all dash off. And you following where they're going, they dash over to what seems like a pile of scrap pieces of clothing, and they like jump into it, and in that toony fashion of they're doing something, like pieces are flying.
Dust cloud.
Yeah, there's a dust cloud in this patch of fabric. They might be at making a scarf for a while.
Aw.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Aw. This is very cute.
Do you want to wait for them to get done, or do you want to go like elsewhere?
I think like Ruby would, yeah, she would like explore other parts of this little tiny community as as the scarf is being made.
Yeah. All right. I will say, walking around, it's. My dog just whined at me. I'm sorry. I got distracted. Walking around, it's fairly bustling. It's kind of like a community within a community, just in this one location. Like there's the outside of Little Corner, and then there's just this small bubble of all of these people in one place, all working together. None of them like look at you strangely. Well, they kind of look at you strangely because you're new here, but not with hostility. It's more of just a curiosity. Some people do come up and like give pleasantries of like, "Hi, hello, welcome." And things like that. They also tell you gossip about the area. I will say you get a lot of mundane like gossip. You'd find like two mothers talking about at a well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ruby knows this gossip.
Yeah.
Ruby knows this kind of gossip.
They also just tell you about tiny things as well, like how excited they are of this new shipment that they've gotten from the merchant. You know, these small chairs. How they have to go probably find more of the small buttons because some of their clothes have been getting like tears in them, and they don't have the right size buttons. The storyboard is apparently going to stop by next month. Who the storyboard is, they don't really say. There's just kind of like, oh yeah, storyboarders are stopping by next month.
I think like Ruby's just quietly fascinated by everything.
Yeah. And
it's just a moment of just being quietly admiring everything.
Yeah. You can like clearly see Duster off in the distance at places, moving shit around. I will say, but before you can go approach Duster to sort of like, you know, there is a tug at the back of your jacket of very small hands. All right.
Ruby turns to look.
All right. The corset's Tiny is sitting there, well, standing there. And there is a large pile of scarf that the other three are holding.
Aww.
And they bring it up to you and they hold it out to you. This is like.
Give me a second. Somebody's knocking on my door.
Okay. Man, Little Corner Tinies, yeah? Yeah. I had a lot of fun. Hi Fable. Hi Fable, how you doing? How you doing, Fable? You said you're dying. That's not great. Yeah, it is cute and soft. It is. What do you mean? Oh, please do. Please do. Fable. Terrible idea. Very bad, terrible idea. Entire party gets shrunk for a day. Bully the skeleton in Little Corner. You can meet Toodles.
I'm back to you suggesting shrink the entire party, and I'm all for this.
Yes.
That would be funny.
It's a potion accident gone wrong. why everyone got caught in the crossfire?
Shrug
Fumes.
emoji. We can figure
Fumes.
figure
That's
that out
why.
when we get to it. But until then, scarf.
Scarf. Yeah. They
Scarf.
hand you this really big scarf. It's enough that you can like hang it over your shoulders like maybe like 4 or 5 times.
Aww. Aww.
Yeah. It's
That's so cute.
and it the interesting thing about it, Ruby, is it looks like it was crocheted, but it looks like someone had taken a piece of string, and you know how like pieces of like tougher string have like multiple strings like wrapped around each other?
Oh, is it like those individual strings of those?
Yeah, it's like someone had like individually piece by piece torn it apart and then made it into this scarf.
Aww.
And and they hand it to you, and they all look very proud of themselves.
Oh.
So, do you like it?
Ruby. Oh man, Ruby, you have feelings, don't you? Ruby's just kind of like surprised and also like, well, it's mostly surprised and like honestly kind of thankful as she quietly takes this scarf from them and nods as she like looks it over.
The small one in the dress kind of squints at you again, and then brings their hands up to sign. You don't talk, do you?
Ruby kind of snorts and signs back, yeah, I don't talk.
All of the small gaggle of children kind of like enclose further on you, Ruby, because ooh, sign language. The the three who can speak are both like starting to speak and sign at the same time. It's honestly a mess to try paying attention to, I'll be honest. But they all are basically like, they all are just babbling excitedly. Like, oh my god, you can do sign? Like, not a lot of people around here know sign. Our sister needs sign language. Because she doesn't talk often. And yeah, you now have 4 excited children signing at you and 3 of them talking to you at the same time.
Oh. This is so soft. This is so soft. I love these kids. They're really cute.
Eventually they quiet down, and the one in the corset talks and signs the same sign language of, you came here with Duster, right? And Duster's sign is Big Rat.
Big Rat.
Yeah.
Ruby kind of snorts a little bit to herself at the name sign being Big Rat.
It's what Duster is.
And her own name for Duster is small. Her own name sign for Duster is in fact Small Rat.
It's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of perspective.
It is.
Looking. They're all just looking at you curiously again. Like,
yeah, Ruby just nods and as she like looks towards wherever Duster is currently.
Duster is talking with another tune, like across some of the beams, holding what seems to be a couch.
Couch.
Just an entire couch. This couch is comically small in his arms, but not like comically small. It's still pretty big, but also he's just holding an entire couch.
Couch. Big.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Children.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of like things Ruby would ask, but like
Yeah.
Ruby in my brain is just quietly fascinated by everything. There aren't much questions to be had.
Ruby did say that she did come with Duster, right?
Mhm.
The corset tune kind of leans in and goes, do you think he would mind if we gave him an outfit? He's, you know, he's really tall and, the, the corset one kind of looks nervous as they go, it's, you know, we haven't talked to him yet.
Ruby is getting the biggest grin. And those who know Ruby would know that this is a grin of mischief and chaos.
Oh, joy.
And she signs, I'm sure Duster would love getting a new outfit.
Do you think he would mind getting one right now?
Absolutely not. Go ahead.
Alright.
And she gestures right towards him, Will Smith style.
Alright. Here's what happens in succession. The children look at Ruby, look at Duster, look at Ruby, look at Duster. Bolts. They all bolt. And Duster, who is completely unaware of this entire thing happening, suddenly gets like pulled into a dust cloud by 4 children. He drops the couch when this happens, and there's a small dust cloud, and after like 2 seconds, Duster has like the dizzy, like the small swirly eye of I've just been attacked by something, and the children are dragging him off somewhere. Congratulations.
Ruby is wheezing in the background.
There's
doubled over in laughter.
They drag him into the area that they were like making stuff in earlier, and there's a lot of like toonish like bangs, yelling of a cat, like a wheel pops out from somewhere. Yeah.
I'm just like imagining a little thimble rolling across the floor.
Yeah. And because this is toon logic, moments later, the children are dragging, like, Duster's now not knocked unconscious from being tackled by children, but, Duster's normal outfit is gone. Just, he's wearing a different outfit now. I do have a picture of this outfit. I sent it to you, so, I'm gonna go grab that real fast. Gotta scroll
I
all
know
the way
this
down.
outfit, yeah.
It's a cottagecore outfit. With a small little like to answer Fable in the chat, not a permanent one, but he has this outfit now. It's a small like cape that probably goes down to like just below the shoulder blades that has like a high collar to it, held together by one of those singular small buttons. Very nice, like puffy looking dress shirt that only goes to like just above where the like just below the elbow. Wearing a corset. Uh, sorry, feel uh, I felt gendered recently, so I was just like, all right, time to make everything dresses, I guess. And a night like a skirt that goes out to probably like knee length. Um, and he has a little bow on his tail. All of them are in more muted colors. But
Aw.
based on Duster's normal outfit, yes, this is incredibly fancy. And yeah, he stumbled.
Fancy rat.
His fur has also been brushed along with his hair.
Aww.
Yeah, fancy rat comes
Fancy rat.
stumbling out behind these children with a like a what the fuck just happened sort of expression. This is the nicest you've ever seen Duster.
Duster does not even need to roll insight if he looks over at Ruby to see her big shit-eating grin.
Duster puts his head in his hands. He's being like very cautious moving in this outfit because he doesn't want to like tear anything.
Aww.
Like you can tell he's exasperated of like how the hell did I get pulled into this situation, but he's not like displeased at having a nude outfit.
This is so good, I love.
Yeah. The tune Duster was talking to earlier, like laughs and then just gives him like a pat on the arm. It's the highest he can reach. Gives a pat on the arm. And yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Duster walks over to you, Ruby. The children looking very proud of themselves. I will admit, they look very proud of themselves.
Yeah.
And just going, so.
Also, Ruby is in fact wearing the scarf that they made her. Just looped around her shoulders and stuff a couple times. It's probably long enough that since she's a mouse right now, her little mouse snoot is kind of tucked in it slightly.
Yeah. I guess they got both of us.
Ruby just nods and she's just she's very happy.
Duster kind of like you know that like thing when you want to like swish your dress around? He does that motion.
Yes.
And like
Aww.
yeah. The skirt part like swishes with the movement. And it's just like I have never felt this fancy in all of my life. The children look even more proud of themselves. Thanks for the outfit. Execution could have used a little bit more work. But if the kids had mouths, they would have shit-eating grins on right now.
Good.
Will admit.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Gremlin to gremlin communication.
Gremlin to gremlin communication. Well, I don't really want to do any more heavy lifting in this, and they got everything else under control. Do you?
Yeah, Ruby kind of thinks and looks at her pocket watch and kind of realizes, it's probably been almost an hour. Her spell's probably gonna run out soon anyway.
Yeah.
So they probably do gotta dip.
Yeah, we should probably get going.
Yeah.
start leads another
Yeah.
paw on the back just to sort of guide Ruby through the crowds here, just to
But
make sure.
first, before they start going, Ruby takes the time to thank all the little kids for making the scarf and tells them that they did a very good job because she really likes it.
You could visit again. Just stop
Huh.
by.
Ruby kind of stops because she hadn't considered that, and now she's considering that. and like, she's looking at Duster, and if she was a tune, her eyes would probably be sparkling.
Duster. Duster's ears like droop back and just goes, "Yeah, we can visit again."
Instantly, two little paws are instantly pumped into the air.
The children also give off a cheer. Yeah. All right. We should really get going now. You four, please do not cause too much trouble. No promises. Duster lets out a sigh and like leads Ruby back over to the chimney entrance. And
Yeah.
I will say, after doing the piggyback thing, very cautiously climbs up this entrance, like with a lot of care to not get this dress dirty at all.
Aww. Aww.
It takes way longer to get back up than it did going down.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you'll get to the top, and Duster kind of looks over the buildings and looks down at his outfit and looks over the buildings and down at his outfit.
Ruby just kind of pats him and she's like, "Hold on, I have an idea."
Okay.
And she's gonna sit down and she's gonna start casting Find Familiar.
Alright, yeah.
And she is crossing her fingers and hoping that Oliver, when he's summoned, is big and not small.
What form you summoning Oliver in?
Let's say owl.
Alright. An owl Oliver in big size.
Yes.
Like lights down on the other side of the chimney, and Oliver, you can get a good look at your two companions. Ruby is small now and has a very big scarf, and Duster is wearing a very nice outfit.
Oliver just kind of poops into existence next to the chimney, and kind of blinks and he goes, "Oh, Miss Ruby, hi," and let's do it at the two of you.
Hi, Oliver. How's it hanging?
Oh, it's been going well. I've had a nice break. Oh, why is Ruby small? And points at her with a wing.
Ruby dropped a pen that I apparently stashed into the space beneath the floorboards. And went to go get it.
And like Oliver, like very tunishly, is dragging a wing across his little bird face.
Okay.
Like a hand.
Yeah. And I had to stop by Little Corner for some business, and I didn't want to leave Ruby at the ruins by herself, because none of the Tiny's areas are fitted to be suitable for someone 4 inches tall. So
That's fair. And like Oliver is just kind of like absently like looking over the buildings, and he like looks to you and Ruby and is like, I'm assuming both of you want to ride, and Ruby just gives a little thumbs up.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then Ruby pauses, and then she looks at Duster like, should we like actually get snacks?
You know what? Probably.
Yeah, because otherwise Antler might get sus.
Shit. What sort of snack should we get? I don't buy things. What 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 sort of
like Ruby has to like stop and think, because like getting snacks is something she just does, but also now that she's small, she's thinking like, wait, we can't buy the big snacks.
We could stop by the greenhouse again.
You know what? Yeah. Ruby nods.
Okay.
She's just like, yeah, let's go with that.
All right. Oliver, I can point you in the direction it is.
Yeah. And then, I think like Oliver kind of like hops over a little bit closer and bends down slightly so that you guys could climb on.
I will say Duster like helps Ruby get on because Ruby is short.
Yeah.
Before climbing on himself. Doesn't really know where to position himself, but he's sure trying to not like make it uncomfortable with his rat claws.
Yeah.
And do we wanna speed run this ending? It's
yeah. Let's speed run this ending.
All right.
This has gone a while.
God, this is we swing by the greenhouse, pick up grapes. These grapes are the size of watermelons to you, Ruby. Pick up some grapes.
Probably like pick up like enough grapes so that it looks like it is snack size to big.
Yeah.
And
Duster,
Oliver
Duster
can carry it back in his little feet.
Duster pulled out like a Ziploc bag basically from his hammer space.
Good.
If he needs to keep food in there, he needs to actually keep it wrapped, because like everything he pulls out of hammer space just has a thin layer, either like a thin or a thick layer of dust on it at all times. So
hence Duster.
Yeah. And yeah, they grab that. They probably also grab some strawberries. There's like a miniature apple tree in this building. They just pick up like 3 fucking apples. These apples are fucking huge. You could make like an apartment out of these. Ruby, you could make an apartment out of these apples.
Good.
If you hollowed out the inside. Pick up a few apples. Yep, that's probably enough for snacks, right? Right.
That's a lot of snack.
That is a lot of snacks, especially grown in this very same garden. Don't mind. And yeah, we head back over to Ruindal.
They fly back to Ruindal. It's a lot faster than how they got there.
Yeah.
Ruby is regretting not doing this sooner.
Duster is like probably like enjoying the wind, and I will say, because it is, wind. If you're on the right side of Duster, his hair is like blowing backwards to the side of his head. You can see his eye and his scar in full view. It's a very small slitted red eye. It's glowing red just constantly. Like usually Duster's eyes glow red. Well, his eye glows red when he's like in combat or doing something like I don't know how to describe it, but basically like
Mhm.
adrenaline. This
Ooh.
one's just glowing, and
Ooh.
it's got a jagged but precise scar running diagonal
Hmm.
across it.
Hmm.
And yeah, he's just sitting there enjoying the wind.
Hmm. I
And
think whatever position Ruby is compared to Duster, I think she's just gonna kind of comfortably lean against him as they fly back.
yeah, Duster's gonna
Yeah.
put one arm around you. Well, 'cause it's not
Aw.
probably not gonna be a chance you get this small again anytime soon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Duster,
Like, Ruby does, like, kind of tense a little bit at first. Because, like, normally she's not a very touchy-feely kind of person.
yeah,
Like, you've seen her hug one person, and that was Umi once. And
yeah,
then you earlier that day, because she got spooked. But, like,
yeah,
after like a little bit, I think she does just kind of relax and like lean against you a little bit more.
no, and also like the tail curled around the other side of Ruby. Just yeah. Do you want to end it
Aww.
there with them flying back to Rundal?
Yee. Although, probably in total, they probably only had like half a day.
Yeah,
There's still probably 12 hours.
yeah.
12 hours of.
We probably do other shit, but like also it's almost 3 hours of this FPS. We need
Yeah,
to end it somewhere.
we do. I want to end it on soft. I want to end it on the soft
Let's
of
end it on soft. Let's end it on soft.
eventually them falling asleep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like maybe they find like a little spot on Ruby's bed where they can like sleep next to each other and Oliver is resting next to them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Sleepy soft.
Sleepy softs.
Yeah.
Alright. But I think
Yeah.
that's it. I think that's good.
Yeah.
That's
That
good.
was very good.
Oh joy, oh joy. Alright.
Yay.
I had a lot of fun. I
Yeah,
put on
I had so much fun. This was so good.
you let me put on my DM shoes and I fucking ran.
Yeah, you ran.
Oh
You
god.
sprinted. You
I,
did a marathon.
I like tinies, man. I don't know what else to
I
say.
know. Looks directly at your nickname right now.
Alright, I'm gonna end the recording.
Yee.
Goodbye everyone, thanks for listening.
Bye, thank you for listening.
Bye.